Okay, let's see if I can shoot this. Okay. Thank you, my love.
We'll make it not too cold, huh?
Yeah. Thank you, Dom. Can I get a kissy? Can I get a kissy? Okay, I was supposed to cook sinigang for you.
Okay.
I didn't be able to do it. Are you okay,
Oh. What's that for?
For my medicine.
It starts today, ha? Kanang gibutang October 13.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is correct. Para dili ito magsigig wonder if na-answer mo na ko siya.
So, dili, and then, ako na lang empty ang time dili para kay next week lahat na ba?
Yeah, like. Thank you, my love.
Love you.
Love you. According to the doctors, I am 34 weeks and 5 days pregnant. According to my latest ultrasound, I am 35 weeks and a couple days pregnant. A baby has to be 37 weeks in order to be birthed at full term. However, this morning, baby was more or less ready to come into the world. Uncle. Okay, so if you're wondering why I'm doing this in bed, it's because I am currently on complete bed rest for the next couple of weeks. So, allow me to backtrack a little bit. So last night, I went to bed at around 3 o'clock, which is my usual bedtime. I sleep pretty late. But I wake up really late as well. Like, I'll wake up 10 or 11 anyways. So, I went to bed feeling pretty hungry, but I figured it's okay. It's just hunger. And then this morning I woke up at around 6:30 and I was really hungry. So I was like, I tried to sleep it off. No, I probably woke up earlier, like 5. I tried to sleep it off. And then around 6:30 I was like, I'm really hungry, I can't do this. So I got up and ate. I'm trying to remember because everything happened kind of fast. But I just remember that I started feeling like contractions. I wasn't sure if they were contractions or not because, to be honest, the baby moves so much and he kicks me so much. That's his trait. He moves and kicks so much that sometimes I can't even recognize if it's a contraction or if he's just moving. But I tried to remember to the best of my abilities what a contraction felt like. And as I was touching my belly, I was like, this really is a contraction. I didn't feel any pain. It was just a series of my stomach getting hard that would last around like 30 seconds. They would rest. And then at the time my contractions were about like 5 to 10 minutes apart. So I decided to just list it down. I wasn't so sure if I was actually in labor, if I was actually having contractions, or if I was just like thinking it, because it's my first time. But then I just decided to time it for about an hour. And then I started to worry because I started feeling pain on my lower back, but a very slight pain. So I decided to text my doctor and tell her, I think I'm having contractions. She called me up And we had a conversation, and she gave me all the instructions I needed and said, you need to go to the hospital right now. And I was like, oh shit. And this is so early in the morning. It was like 8. It was already, I think it was like 8 o'clock by this time. And Polo was in bed. He still asleep. So I woke him up and I told him that he had to bring me to the hospital because I was in labor. And I tried to be as calm as possible, but deep down inside I was freaking out so much now. Luckily, I was already packed. I've been packed for a while already because I had a feeling that this was gonna happen. I had a feeling that the baby would come a little early. I wasn't expecting this early, but I had a feeling that he was gonna come early. I don't know if I put it out in the universe or if I just had a feeling, because just the way that he moves, I think, like he's ready to get out of here. Hold on, I think I'm having a contraction. Are you coming today, babe? We'll find out. So we got to the hospital and I was sent to the outpatient department, the OPD. When we got there, they started measuring my contractions and stuff. And the funny thing is, I specifically chose perpetual because I felt like I wouldn't know anyone there. But the doctor that was in charge of me, the resident doctor, turned out to be my old classmate. I don't remember her though because we were only in a couple classes together and I couldn't really see because of the masks and stuff, but she looked familiar. And she's also kabarkada sa akong mga barkada friends. I was like, oh. It was nice to know someone because then I could ask all the questions I wanted and I was so comfortable and she was great. Shout out to Trisha Rojas, the Doctora Trisha Rojas. We confirmed that I was actually having contractions and she performed an IE on me, which was truly a bonding experience. If you ever want to have an instant bond with someone, have them stick their fingers up your vagina. That'll definitely do the trick. That's when I found out that there were no available incubators in the hospital where I preferred to give birth. I didn't realize this, but if you're trying to have a baby, maybe don't have it in October because everyone gives birth in October. Probably don't have sex in February. Just kidding. So many people are giving birth in October. We're literally like out of machines. So the policy was, I cannot give birth if there are no incubators available. Where are they gonna put the baby? What are they gonna do with my baby who's premature? It was really stressful because then I had to take my urinalysis. I had to take a fire swab test, which is a swab test that comes out within 12 hours as opposed to the 24 hours that we usually have. And the best part about that was we found out that they had just run out of their fire swab kits. The person right before me literally took the last kit. So I was like, oh my god, we're out of incubators. We are out of swab kits. What the f am I supposed to do? I'm just like not trying to think about how stressful it is because it's not good for the baby. But it was pretty stressful. Anyways, so we're quick on our feet and I'm very grateful because I'm so grateful because I got to call Calm Care. I called up my friend Janine D. Hi Janine, if you're watching this. And they actually have home service for PTR. I never know what the letters are. PTRCP tests. But I guess hers is the fire swab style because hers come out after 12 hours or within 12 hours. And they go to you wherever you are and they do the swab. And her team was so amazing because they went straight to the hospital and they swabbed us there and then went straight to the lab. So now we're just waiting for my test results, because if I give birth and I don't have my swab results, they're putting me in the dirty hospital, the dirty section, which is like the COVID not safe area. But if I get the swab results, they're putting me in the clean area. So I have that peace of mind that, well, like COVID, but I don't really think I can take off my mask and stuff, but at least we'll have that peace of mind that I don't have COVID. So Paula and I got tested, and we're just waiting for the results right now. We were basically there the entire morning. This is from 8 to 12. I think we went home at 1. I've been advised to stay or to go into complete bed rest for the next 2 weeks. I've been told to take pampakapit, and I have to call every single hospital that I can or that I prefer to go to and ask if they have incubators available. And if they do, I will most likely be checked in so that they can monitor me and maybe administer the medicines via IV. Mauna, like if the baby really comes, then I'm giving birth preterm. There's my babe. I have a picture of him beside me all the time so I can see him. Here's my ambient lighting. This is the room. We have our co-sleeper there, which is usually here, but Mama is not needing that right now. And then we have the crib. I just noticed the TV is on. I'm not watching anything. And that's basically it. And then I have my electric fan and the AC is on. AC all day, every day. And then we have this. My pillow. And then that's the bathroom. Okay, that's all for now. Bye. So, I don't know where to start. Let's start with the date. It is currently Monday, October 18, officially 10 days before my 31st birthday, and I'm in bed. I think I should catch you up on the last 4 days, because I wasn't always just on this bed. I don't remember what my last video was, but I know it was on a Thursday night. I mostly spent the day calling up hospitals and asking them if there was an available incubator.
Hello, maternity.
Hi, good morning. Good afternoon. Ma'am, pwede ako magpa-forward kung asa ko pada mangutana if na available na incubators?
Sa asa nigikan, ma'am? O sa asa nigikan? Sa asa ni nga
Patient
hospital?
ko, actually. Oo.
Kuan ka na atong incubator, ma'am. Away, wala tayo available. Puno siya. Wala tayo available karon.
Okay, sige. Thank you.
Okay, na-adjud ni preterm man pud gud nga 34 weeks nga naa sa ward. So ako siyang i-check kung good and admitted to magud siya, ma'am. So mahug ayaha pa magud ni ang warmer.
I see.
If ever malagay siguro i-try og call by tomorrow ana kung papauli mo siya unsa. Pwede ko kuan na lang siguro, ma'am, sa mangayo ko contact number nimo.
Yes, please.
You done now with the list?
Not yet. I'll call
Asa naman ka?
Velas. I've called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So far, ang St. Vincent ya ang naay murag hope. I'll call Velas now. Okay, I just want to make sure that the baby is safe. So it's around 5 o'clock now, and I've talked to a bunch of people and just tried to figure out what we're gonna do. And it's pretty intense right now because there really aren't any incubators. The one hospital that does have an incubator can't take me in because they're understaffed. I did have a little mental breakdown, and Pablo had to hug me and talk to me, and that was a good pep talk because he made me realize na it can't be super bad in my case because they did send me home yesterday. Things could have been a lot worse. Na I didn't get sent home and I would have to give birth without an incubator, but the fact that I was able to go home and self-medicate is a good thing. And that's true. I still would prefer to be at a hospital though, so that I can make sure that the baby's okay. And that's really why I was crying, because akong feeling is I just am so scared that something might happen to him, and I just don't want something or anything to happen to him. But that's why we have a Doppler, and worst comes to worst, if he really wants to come out, he'll come out. You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't want the baby to be incubated. I don't want him to come out yet because it's not time. And I just hope everything goes well, because what if other people need the incubator more than I do? And if I go to the hospital, they're obviously gonna reserve it for me. So that means another person whose case might be worse might not be able to use it. So, pati sad ba? It really sucks. At around 6 o'clock, I was more or less like, I think that a part of me was devastated because I felt like there were no incubators available. And then Paulo came in and he was giving me updates. We got a lot of help from a lot of people. We were able to get in touch with a pedia who specializes in premature babies. We were able to contact my OB, and like just a lot of things were going on, and I started crying because I was just feeling so immensely grateful because we were getting a lot of help, and I had classmates calling me and everything. And then I just started crying. That's the last thing I remember. I started crying, and then suddenly my phone rang, and I got a call from the labor room or the NICU department of a hospital, a small hospital called St. Vincent Hospital. And when I say small, it's not like super small, but it's small enough that I had never really acknowledged it as a hospital. I am a nurse. I've never practiced, but I am somewhat familiar with the hospitals here in Cebu. But I sort of like would always overlook that hospital and be like, I don't really think that's a hospital. But then I got a call from them, and they had said that, oh, a warmer just opened up, and if you want it, you have to get here as soon as you can. Otherwise, if someone else checks in before you and needs the warmer, it goes to them. The next thing I did was I called up my OB, asked her what she wanted me to do, if she wanted me to continue resting at home or if she wanted me to be admitted at the hospital, and she said that she wanted me to go get admitted. So Paulo and I headed for the hospital. We headed for St. Vincent's Hospital. Long story short, I was in there for, I'd say 3 days. Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and then we came home yesterday, which is Sunday. So technically like 3.5 days. I was in the labor room for around 2 nights. They didn't allow any gadgets in there that like allowed me to communicate with people outside. So Paulo and I had to resort to love letters. So, just some updates. When I got inside the labor room, apparently I was back in labor, in active labor, by the time I was placed on the bed. From 1 cm, my cervix had dilated to 2 cm, and I was in active labor again. This time I could feel a little bit of the stinging pain radiating on my lower back, but it wasn't anything that was too painful. Basically, what they did was they monitored the baby, the contractions, and I was eventually placed on steroids. So I got around 4 injections of steroids, and that was to hasten the development of the baby's lungs. So if I ever did have to give birth while I was in the hospital, at least I had the steroids and we were working on developing the baby's lungs. And at the same time, I was also on different medications to arrest the labor. And when that was done, they placed me on medications to continue to postpone or prolong my labor. For the most part, I was really grateful to be in there, but it's just different being at home or being with Paulo. Being in the labor room was really hard, so I had to really be a good girl and make sure that everything was okay with the baby. And then once I kind of felt that everything was good, I then asked very nicely if I could come back to the room, and luckily they said yes. And eventually we were given discharge instructions. We're now at home. Paulo is such an amazing husband. He's been doing everything. He's been cleaning the house while working. He's been cooking for me. He's been like preparing everything, and honestly, I can't do much. I'm just on complete bed rest with toilet privileges. Prior to that, I had to pee on a bedpan and he had to wipe me. It was a truly bonding experience. I know it seems like I'm not doing much, but just lying down, I guess, is doing the most that I can do for our son. The baby is good. I've been monitoring him with my Doppler, which I'm very grateful to have. I know a lot of people are wondering what caused this, why I went into premature labor, and there are only really a handful of reasons for this, and I'm gonna explain it. The first reason could be an infection. It was explained to me that oftentimes if you have UTI or urinary tract infection, you can go into premature labor. So according to my test, I didn't have UTI. There is a type of UTI that is asymptomatic, meaning you don't show any signs and symptoms, and I got 2 urinalysis, and I was ruled out negative for that. So it can't be an infection. So the next thing is really just lifestyle. And I think this is very important because my husband and I, and including the nurses and the doctors, are really trying to figure out what it was that I was doing. And on Monday, they asked me if I was stressed, actually. And to be honest, I haven't really been stressed out this entire pregnancy because I never really allowed myself to be super stressed. I wouldn't let myself get to that because I knew that it wasn't good for the babe. On Monday, I did a little photo shoot here at home, but I wasn't tired. I wasn't stressed. I took all the time I needed. I had fun, in fact, shooting myself. So I was fine. So it couldn't be that. And then on Tuesday, I hung out with my sister. And that couldn't be stressful at all because it was like one of the happiest I've been hanging out with her. And then they asked me, "Did you start walking already?" And then I was like, oh shit. So, to backtrack a little bit, the moment I turned like, I'd say 7 or 8 months, everyone, literally everyone except my OB told me that I had to start walking. They said, "Oh, you're about to give birth now, you should start walking, you should start walking." And I kind of fell into the pressure of having to start walking without asking my OB about it. So what happened was, Paolo and I bought a walking pad, which is like a little treadmill for the house where you can just walk on. And I started walking around like 5 to 10 minutes a day, which is approximately like probably like 2,000 steps in a day, which really wasn't much. But we're kind of thinking now maybe that's what triggered it, because prior to that we were in lockdown. There wasn't anywhere for me to go. I wasn't walking 2,000 steps at all. I would barely walk because we're just in the condo. And then suddenly I was walking 2,000 steps. And we really can't think of anything else except for it probably be for, we can't think of anything else aside from the fact that it most likely was because of my walking. So I kind of felt bad about it, because as someone who generally hates getting unsolicited advice, the one time I listened to unsolicited advice, this happened. I wish I had talked to my doctor. I wish I had asked her, like, "Doc, am I allowed to go walking now?" Because apparently they will advise you to start walking once you hit your 37th week, and not when you turn 6 months or 8 months. Like, everyone was kind of just like assuming that you should start walking. And I'm really angry at myself, and I'm mad at like everyone else. But I know that they had good intentions. But I can't help but think like, fuck, this never would have happened if I didn't listen to other people other than my doctor. But it is what it is. We're just happy that now I can prolong my pregnancy, and really hoping to push it to 2 more weeks. I just turned 35 weeks today. We're hoping to get to 37 weeks so I can reach full term. And I'm just at home, and it's not very productive, honestly. The most productive thing I can do right now is just lie down in bed. So yeah. Okay, Bayhanas. So I think it's about time that I wrapped up this chapter of my pregnancy vlog. I have learned a lot of things, but mostly that we cannot control our children. I think that's the number one thing that I'm learning, that I have. It's like I knew this, but I'm learning it more and more as I reach the end of my pregnancy. I cannot control my son. I will never try to, and I will never be able to. I mean, why would I? But I can't. I can only want what's best for him and try to give him the best and try to steer him in the right direction like I am now. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if he wants to come out, he's gonna come out. So I hope that serves as a reminder for everyone. No, we cannot control our children. We shouldn't even try to. But we can always try to do what's best. I just want to say that I am so grateful to have a husband like Paulo. And I'm not going to talk about this in detail because it's going to make me cry. But I'm so grateful for him. And let's leave it at that, because even just saying that sentence is making me emotional. So if you're watching this and you believe in prayers, please continue to pray for us that I reach 37 weeks at least, and that whatever happens next. But always, I hope that you can help us pray that we bring in our little babe into the world healthy and full term. And if I can't bring him in full term, that there will be an available incubator if he comes earlier. For now, I just wanna lay down and catch my breath. But I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and I will catch you in another vlog very soon. Love you. Don't forget, knowledge is power. And we learned a lot of things in this vlog. Bye. That's his name. Yeah. Look at how chubby my feet are. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's time for me to go to the hospital already.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Sorry.